Hey, party people! Welcome to Stand Up and Stand Out. I'm your host, Nikki Green. Stand Up and Stand Out, it's more than a podcast, it's a call to action. And no, I don't mean in that cutesy CTA acronym buzzword type of way. Are you tired of misogynistic bosses ruining your workday? Did you dream of using your creative energy for good instead of promoting corporate greed and evil? Then this educational podcast is for you. Following nearly 2 decades of working in Fortune 500 companies, I want to share my leadership learnings with all of you. Leaders are needed in all walks of life, not just business. We are in a critical time to pivot ourselves and the community around us to build a better future together. In this podcast, we're going to cover some behind the scenes from my new book, I Laugh in the Face of Danger, and other life lessons that should have taught me better. Stand Up and Stand Out is education, comedy, and therapy all in one. See you there.
Hi, everyone, and welcome again to Stand Up and Stand Out. We are welcoming back Aditi Ramchandani to our show, and she's going to do a little intro, and so we can learn a little bit more about her. We learned all about all the wonderful things she's doing for everyone else, but she has such an interesting story, we thought we'd bring her back. So welcome, Aditi.
Hello, thank you so much for having me again.
We're going to go through our standard interview questions here, which are less than standard, but at least people are getting the swing of it. So I'd like to start with, what's your origin story? Every great superhero and villain has one. What's yours?
So for me, my story starts pretty standard in the sense that, I was a girl who was just trying to fit in and follow all the rules, going through school, going to college, and then getting a job after school. And, it's funny because I feel like after that, it's like, now what? Like you're given this roadmap through your life. And then once you have your job, it's just like, good luck. That's where really the life starts. And for me, I went into corporate America and I loved it for the first few years. I was like, this is amazing. I'm making money. I get to travel. I have a corporate credit card. I feel so cool. You know what I mean? I just was like, this is it. Until after a while, I realized, wait, this is it. There's nothing more. This is it. I just have a job now for the rest of my life. I go to work. I come home. I maybe work out, have dinner and go to sleep, and I do it all over again. And then I have a weekend to do my chores and laundry and clean and errands and repeat. And I think that's when I started really questioning things and realizing like, wait, is this what life is? When you're younger, it's always anticipatory into the next chapter. And at that point, it started to hit this kind of lull for me that I was like, wait, what's going on? And I noticed a lot of people around me. I was really active in extracurricular activities, and I was like the president of a nonprofit. I was doing all these things outside of work. And I found myself loving that way more than my actual job. And I was like, I'm spending 40 hours on this extracurricular outside of my job for free because I'm having so much fun. And I'm like, wow, what if I could actually do that for my work? And that's when I really started asking these questions. And I think I started hitting my quarter life crisis. And I started wondering, what is my path? What is life? And what is the meaning of it all? What's the point of it all? So I also saw the rat race at work and the competition. And there was only a few spots available for promotion, and only those few people would get it. And I just always had this thing that I wanted us all to succeed. I wanted us all to grow. And it just wasn't like that in corporate America. I started, applying to jobs. I started looking outside to see if there was something better. And I could never find anything better. And I feel like that is what made me become more introspective. I felt like a bad person because people were like, you should be more grateful. Like you're at a top consulting company in the whole world. What's wrong with you? This is people's dream job. So I had this guilt that I should be happy. I should be grateful. So I think that made me just get stuck in that rut a little bit more, trying to find joy in what I had. But I just knew that something was missing. Eventually, I decided to quit my job. I really wanted to do marketing. And I find that every time I applied to marketing jobs, they were like, oh, but you have consulting experience, not marketing experience. If I wanted to get into marketing at my corporate job, I had to kiss butt and have all these conversations. And it just felt like this, it just felt like too much. Like I was spinning my head in circles. I was was like, well, if I want to do marketing, what if I just get a master's in marketing degree? Then people are going to take me seriously that I'm a marketing person and I will have the marketing expertise. So I did that. I ended up quitting my job full time. And I know you had mentioned that if I didn't get my MBA, I'm not going back once I'm working. But for
Right.
me, I was like, I'm ready to go back to school.
Get
Screw
me out
work.
of work. Get me out of here. Maybe I did do it wrong.
I was like, I was so excited to be a full-time student. I was that student in grad school, sitting in the front and raising my hand. And I just loved being a student. It was great. I was like, I don't have any work responsibilities. I can be a kid again. I can ask dumb questions, which you should always ask dumb questions, but I felt really allowed to, do it there. And it was amazing. I got to meet like the CMO of Pizza Hut, of Sonic, of all these big brands who went to Northwestern, is where I went for my master's in marketing. And it just really fueled me in a new way. After I graduated, I ended up starting my business full time in marketing, and I was doing brand storytelling and strategy for small businesses. It's funny because I think that's one of the things you're asked me later, what makes me unique is jumping into things without having any sort of plan, because I started my business with only $1,500 to my name. And mind you, rent was $1,300. So that left me with $200 to pay for internet and anything else. Scary time, but it was also exciting because I was like, wow, like the world is my oyster. I can do anything that I want. And if it really fails, I can always go back and get a job if I need to. So I ended up doing that for 5 years, having my marketing business. And I found that when I was coaching my clients, they were really stressed and overwhelmed and had a lot of fear and insecurities.
Mhm.
And I found that that was actually holding them back from building the business they wanted, from being the person that they wanted to be. And that's kind of whereby my business started shifting a bit and I became a certified life coach. And I found myself life coaching my marketing clients more than doing marketing
Doing the
strategy.
marketing. I love that transition story that you start one place, and this is just so true of so many people. And I think it's a narrative that gets lost. And we've talked about this. You get this narrative of, okay, I go to school and then I keep going to school and then I finish going to school and then I go to work and everything magically comes together, when it's not. And school is so rewarding because you're challenged and you're having these intellectual discussions and it really motivates you. And then you go to work and half the time you're getting tasks that are way beneath your skill level. And it's like, well, you got to do your work in order to move up. And it's like, no, I don't. Actually, I am smarter than this. And this is boring the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And so I really love that story of your uniqueness of, like, you said, no, I am going to stand out. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to have my own marketing business. But then you use that to craft a new story. And you said, hey, I see them challenged by something else that I can help them with. And especially it was something that you had adversity with when you were younger. So you had a special calling towards that. And you don't realize these things in your life that become the foundation for where you go later on. So you've explored a couple of different careers so far. What other exciting things have you done? Like I worked at a coffee shop. I worked at a Hot Topic for a while. I worked at a bank. So everybody kind of explores lots of different careers before they start to settle on wherever they're at today. So what are some of the interesting careers you've had in your life?
Oh my God. I wanted to be a lawyer at one point. I feel like I would chase the money because I was just like, I just don't want to be broke. I just want
Mhm.
to be able to live a lavish lifestyle and I'm over it. I don't want to be counting pennies and dollars and all that kind of thing. And so I feel like I always chased the money and that didn't really work out too well for me. Because I couldn't actually do work that was not interesting to me. Like I
Yeah.
could barely, like I took a business law class once and I could barely get through the first 3 pages. I was like, this is not going to work. And then I think I originally started my major as bioinformatics, again, chasing the money. And I don't know what I was thinking. I was literally getting C's and D's in my computer science classes. It was a hot mess. So yeah. And then I was thinking to do my MBA, but then I realized I already had a bachelor's in business administration, and MBA is really just that, a little enhanced. And I really, really was drawn to marketing always, even before I knew what marketing was. I was
Mhm.
doing marketing in high school, in college. I thought marketing was literally like a car salesman. Like you just try to sell something. And I didn't realize there was just so much psychology and thinking. And I was really into psychology, if funny enough. And my dad was like, you can't do anything with a psychology degree. So I didn't end up pursuing that, but I just loved branding. I loved coming up with themes and an essence and the brand storytelling. I loved that and really being able to follow what lit me up. And I think that's what was interesting and hard. I wanted to follow the money, but I could never find joy in the work that I thought the money would bring me. And I would just become burnt out because I hated it. And then I would find myself doing things for free. I was a president of a nonprofit. I was like the VP of External Affairs of North America, all for free. And I'm doing it in all my free time. And I'm like, wow, like, what if I could get paid to do this work, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like trying to do bioinformatics. I was trying to do lawyer, MBA. I definitely had a whole bunch of side jobs, like customer service representative jobs, like in school and then outside. So all kinds of things.
It's wonderful though, even the jobs that you don't like, you learn something from them. And I think your handle as Aditi Creative, it really matches you, right? Like that creative energy that you have
Yes.
towards marketing, but also towards creatively helping people through stress management. I think you balance both of those things so amazingly. And it's really cool to see. So that talks about your passion. So what is your passion and how are you currently pursuing it?
So my passion is to reduce emotional suffering in the world because I have been through such dark places in my life that I realized, wow, this is a real problem and it's not talked about, it's not taught. And I never ever thought I would be doing this work, you know. Somehow life just finds you in the places you're supposed to be. But I think it was a year and a half ago where, and I had reached different levels of depression, but it was a year and a half ago where this mission was truly born. I remember I was going through a really rough heartbreak and I just thought my whole world was falling apart. And I remember having to be around other people and act like I was okay. And I was really dying inside. And I was like, wow, I wonder how many other people are feeling this way, but we don't know because people are just so good at putting on a face. Even I was in that moment. And I really knew in that moment that I had to save myself. Nobody was going to save me from this unless I did it. And I had been in a very dark depression for 2 years, years prior to that. And I was so scared in that moment. I was like, I cannot go back there. Like, I will not go back there. I have to save myself because it was just such a dark time where I was just such a zombie. I was alive, but I was dead. You know what I mean? I
Just
was
going
just
through the motions, right? And
all of
yeah.
it and just barely doing the basic essentials to survive. And it's just a very painful way to live. And I found myself going back there and I was like, I can't, like, I have to save myself. And in that moment, I remember sitting in a bathtub and I never used to take baths before, but you hear about it. But there was something about sitting in the bathtub. I just felt so held by the water.
Yeah. Supported and yeah.
So supported. So they say water is feminine energy. So it's like connecting to your divine feminine, your intuition, all of that. And so I felt like the water helped me connect back to myself. And I was like, if I can get out of this, I'm going to help other people through this because we have to know there's another way. Most people don't know and they just drown and they just disintegrate. You know what I mean? That's when I knew that I want to help people with their emotional suffering. I want to help people reduce emotional suffering and stress. It really starts out, I feel like, as stress because we don't always know one that we're stressed or what's going
Yeah.
on. And a lot of us are really good at pushing through with willpower. And we always hear like, oh, feelings don't matter, emotions don't matter. Those are just soft things. Like what matters is results and things like that. But our results are impacted by our emotions. If we're feeling like crap, what are the results we're going to create? Probably crappy results. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I feel that way too. And I felt like a lot of times I got negative feedback at work where my passion was doing a good job, was motivating my team, was doing all these things. And some of that was in sort of weird and quirky ways that they weren't expecting because I bring a different energy. And the more they were like, no, you can't do that. You have to be this way. You have to be this structure and you have to reduce that emotion. You can't be up or down. You're just supposed to be this neutral middle. I was like,
Robot.
yeah, you got to be kidding me, man. This is not the way to live.
Yeah.
I need, that passion that's driving me. And that's what's driving all of us. And I think it is more important for us to be real with each other. One of the things I say in my book is as we turned on the cameras in our homes, you start to see a new side of everybody, right? There's no more this fake veneer that we've had in the office. You get to
Yes.
see the real thing that's happening behind the scenes as, your friends walking in, your cats walking across the laptop, whatever the things are, right? Well, to finish it off, let's talk about what makes you stand up. We've kind of talked a little bit around this, but how do you use your superpowers for good, and what causes have affected your life that make you want to improve them for future generations?
What makes me stand up is knowing that it gets better. I feel like when we think we're stuck, it's just so painful. And even if I'm not exactly where I want to be in my life right now, I can't deny that everything has gotten better from these last 6, 7 years of work that I've been doing on myself, on my life, on my career, on my emotional health, all of it. Everything has continuously gotten better, even if it's very like little, like inch speed, snail speed. The curiosity and the wonder of what's possible really inspires me to stand up, because I feel like, so many of us have unrealized potential inside of us, and being able to realize it is another kind of feeling. Like when I did my first paid speaking gig, it's like it was another kind of proudness I felt for myself, because I knew how much turmoil I went through to get there, how many inner demons I had to fight to show up that day. No one can take that feeling away from me. Like that is mine, I don't need any external validation or anything to make me feel better about myself. It's like that moment showing up for myself really changed the game. So what makes me stand up is the possibilities that are around us, and what we can experience for ourselves, because I feel like we have so much inside of us to still get to experience, but because of stress, because of worry, because of the expectations we put on ourselves, we're not able to fully go there. Stephen Pressfield, this author, he says we all have two lives we live: the life we're living and the unlived life inside of us. And I'm so curious about experiencing that unlived life for myself. And I want everyone else to be able to experience those parts of themselves that they never have, because what else did we come to Earth for? You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, this is the only plane where literally our body, our soul, our spirit can exist all in one space. And not being able to experience yourself is the biggest thing you can rob yourself from. So that's really what makes me stand up. It's following the crowd. Just sometimes it seems easier, but it just doesn't do it. You will feel some sort of void when you're not walking your own path, your own truth that you're meant to walk here.
I love that. And I think that is just such a good way to show the next generation to really just take that next step. You don't always know where it's going to lead, but you have to have that bravery and you have to have
Yes.
that confidence, and it starts to build on itself. Every win that you have builds on it. You have more confidence. Every time that something comes together that you were unsure about gives you that next level confidence to even be more brave and do something more exciting the next time, and really keep following your passion and see where your passions lead. The more experiences you have, the more you see the world, the more you're going to want to do all sorts of new different things. Well, thank you so much, Aditi. It's been wonderful having you on the show again. And then just remind everybody again where to find you on all the wonderful places in the world on the internet.
So my handle on IG, Clubhouse, TikTok, pretty much everywhere is Aditi Creative, ADITI Creative. And then aditiCreative.com/Let's Thrive is where you can book a call with me.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's been great having you. And now it's time to sign off for some cocktails and relaxation time.
Cheers.
Well, party people, that's a wrap on season 1. I want to thank Aditi Ramchandani for her inspirational interview in episode 10 to round out our season. Aditi has just released her first book, The Self-Care Habit: Tools to Reduce Stress and Live a Meaningful Life. You can check it out now on her website at aditicreative.com/book launch. I hope you all enjoyed the amazing guests who joined us for the first season of Stand Up and Stand Out. I know I sure enjoyed getting to know a bit more about each of their stories and how they are inspiring the next generation. Aditi and others will be joining me for our upcoming 3-day virtual conference on July 27th called I Graduated, Now What? We're here to help college graduates find their passion, not just their paycheck. You can find out more at beyondcollege.life. Season 2 will be fast approaching after the conference, so stay tuned. And if you've missed any of the first season, you can binge listen where the cool kids hang out that do podcasts. Spotify, Google Podcasts, or Apple Podcasts. Until then, this is Nikki Green signing off. TTFN.